Okay. Daniel, China, Yasmara, Lily. Today we are going to talk about gravity. In this question, an engineer is collecting data on 4 different satellites orbiting Earth. The engineer records the satellites' distances from Earth in kilometers and their forces due to gravity in newtons. The question tells us to estimate the values for the 2 missing quantities. We know that the answer for satellite 2 must be greater than 0 and less than 17,000. And the answer for satellite 3 must be greater than 0 and less than 7,000. Some major points and words in the question are distance, mass, gravity, and estimate. Distance is the measurement of the length between 2 given points. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Gravity is a pull toward the center of an object, and since the question tells us to estimate, we do not need an exact answer, but rather a rounded guess. The more mass an object has, the greater the pull of gravity. It's the same with distance. The closer an object is to Earth, the greater the pull of gravity. So when we go back to the table, we can compare satellite 2 to 1. Both satellites have the same mass, but satellite 2 has a greater distance from Earth than satellite 1. Therefore, satellite 2 will have a lower force of gravity than 17,000 newtons. Remember that the satellite is still attracted to Earth, so the force cannot be less than or equal to 0. That's why any answer greater than 1 newton and less than 17,000 newtons is accepted. When we look at satellite 3, we can compare it to satellite 4 because both have the same mass. Since satellite 3 has a higher gravitational force than satellite 4, we know from previous information that its distance must be less than 7,000 kilometers. Therefore, any answer greater than 0 and less than 7,000 is accepted. So when we look back, the problem tells us to estimate the values for the 2 missing quantities. Now you see how we came up with the answers greater than 0 and less than 17,000. For satellite 2 and greater than 0 and less than 7,000 for satellite 3.
Okay, wait.